Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. Humanity's journey through history has been one of exploration, growth, and the quest for understanding. From the first steps of early humans on the African savanna to the age of space exploration, the desire to chart new frontiers, to grow beyond the boundaries of the known, has been a driving force. Yet, there is another aspect of the human experience that has shaped our evolution and interactions with the world: the profound and deeply ingrained value we place on personal freedom. This desire for freedom, the ability to choose one's path, live as an individual, and shape one's destiny, stands as one of the most defining characteristics of humanity. It is something that transcends cultures, nations, and even time periods. From the earliest days of civilization to the modern age and beyond, humanity has often been willing to risk everything not just for survival, but for the freedom to live life on one's own terms. When humans first began their journeys into the stars, they were driven not just by the thirst for knowledge or the quest to survive in a universe that could be as indifferent as it was vast, but by the desire for a future where they could make their own choices, free from the constraints of previous generations. As humanity spread beyond Earth, encountering other species, their ideals of personal freedom would be tested, explored, and ultimately understood by alien civilizations in ways that few could have predicted. These extraterrestrial observers, encountering human culture for the first time, found themselves confronted with a complex and paradoxical truth about humanity: that, above all else, humans value their personal freedom even more than survival itself. The aliens' discovery of this value became evident in many of humanity's early interactions with them. For many of the alien species who had reached a stage of technological and social maturity, the idea of personal freedom was not nearly as prominent or even understood in the same way it was among humans. Many alien civilizations, having long since conquered the challenges of survival, focused their efforts on the pursuit of knowledge, power, or stability. They had mastered the art of living in harmony with their surroundings, built empires, and crafted societies where the needs of the collective were paramount. The individual, in these alien cultures, was often seen as secondary to the needs of the whole. Upon first encountering humans, these alien species assumed that the same principles would apply. They assumed that the natural instinct of any species, especially one just beginning to explore the galaxy, would be survival. They believed that when faced with adversity, a species would choose survival at any cost, and the collective good would prevail over the individual's desires. Yet, what they observed in humans was nothing short of perplexing. Humans, when placed in situations where their survival was threatened, were often more willing to sacrifice their safety and well-being for the sake of their autonomy, individuality, and freedom. This was not the behavior the aliens had expected from a young and fragile species like humanity. The first signs of this began to surface when humans encountered alien civilizations that were far more advanced technologically. These species, some of which had long ago developed the ability to manipulate entire ecosystems, to live in peace and stability, began to offer humans what appeared to be gifts: advanced technology, eternal peace, and the promise of a secure future free from the dangers of disease, hunger, and conflict. Yet, instead of eagerly accepting these offers, humans reacted in ways that confounded their alien hosts. Rather than embracing these advancements as an easy path to survival, many humans questioned the price that came with such gifts. The promise of peace, stability, and abundance came with a hidden cost: the loss of personal freedom, the surrendering of one's autonomy, and the submission to an external authority. The aliens' first encounters with this human resistance were bewildering. They could not understand why humans would reject offers that would guarantee their survival, and they wondered if this refusal was a sign of a deeper psychological flaw. After all, these civilizations had long ago determined that the greater good, ensuring the survival of the species, securing the prosperity of the collective, was the highest priority. The individual was of secondary importance in their philosophies. For these alien species, the idea that humans would choose personal freedom over survival was not only illogical, but it was also a dangerous mindset. They believed that such a way of thinking could lead to instability, chaos, and ultimately, the downfall of humanity. But as time passed and the aliens observed more of human behavior, they began to realize that there was more to humanity than mere survival instincts. It was not that humans were reckless or irrational, it was that their desire for personal freedom transcended even the most basic survival needs. They would rather face uncertainty and risk than live in a world where they were denied the autonomy to make their own choices. This was a concept that, for the longest time, the aliens could not fully grasp. They had never had to make such a choice, as their societies were designed to prioritize the collective good above all else. Personal sacrifice for the greater whole was ingrained in their cultures, and this concept had always ensured their survival. But in humans, they saw something different. This deep-seated need for personal freedom was not just a philosophical stance, but a practical one. Humans demonstrated time and again that they would rather live in precarious conditions, even in hazardous environments, if it meant they could retain control over their lives. The willingness of humans to engage in space exploration, to venture into unknown and potentially lethal regions of the galaxy, was driven by this desire for personal freedom. It wasn't just about securing a future for their species, it was about having the liberty to shape that future, to determine their own destiny. Even when offered the opportunity to live under the protection of more advanced alien civilizations, humans would often choose to go their own way, establishing colonies on distant and dangerous worlds, where they could live independently, free from the oversight of higher powers. The most striking example of this came when humans encountered civilizations that offered them utopian societies, worlds where poverty, hunger, and conflict were virtually non-existent, thanks to the imposition of strict societal controls. On these worlds, survival was assured. But in exchange for this security, personal freedom was severely restricted. Laws and regulations governed every aspect of life. People were assigned roles, their actions monitored and directed by powerful, centralized authorities. The choice to live such a life was offered to humans, but time and again, they rejected it. They chose to struggle, to risk their lives on frontier worlds, and to face the unknown rather than live in a carefully regulated, controlled environment where their every move was dictated by others. For the aliens observing these choices, this rejection of stability in favor of personal autonomy was mystifying. It became clear to them that, for humanity, the act of living freely was not just a choice, it was an essential part of their very identity. To strip humans of their personal freedom, to impose order and structure that denied them the ability to choose, was to strip them of their humanity. The aliens began to understand that humans were not just driven by the need to survive, but by the need to live authentically, to make their own decisions, and to carve out a sense of purpose based on their own desires and values. This realization led to a significant shift in how these alien species approached humans. They came to see that while humans were undeniably fragile, vulnerable to many of the dangers of the universe, it was their love of freedom that made them unique, and perhaps even stronger than they appeared at first glance. The aliens came to appreciate the complexity of humanity's priorities. It was not a disregard for survival, rather, it was a recognition that true freedom was worth fighting for, even at great cost. Over time, this understanding spread throughout the galaxy, as more and more species encountered humans and came to recognize this paradoxical truth about them. The humans' resistance to control, their desire to forge their own paths, and their unwavering belief in the sanctity of individual liberty became legendary. They were not seen as an inferior species, nor as reckless adventurers. Instead, they were viewed as pioneers of a new kind of civilization, one where the individual, not the collective, was the central focus of society. This unique value set humanity apart from other species, and it became a key reason why humans were often sought after for alliance building, diplomacy, and trade. The very thing that made them most different from the established alien civilizations, this fierce, almost instinctual desire for personal freedom, became their greatest strength. As humans continued to encounter new species and explore new worlds, they continued to demonstrate this trait. They were willing to fight for their freedom, even if it meant risking their lives. They would stand up to oppressive regimes, even if it meant facing defeat. And they would never accept a life where they were not free to choose their own path. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, where survival often depended on cooperation and collective action, humans were a species apart of people who, above all else, valued their autonomy. The aliens who had first encountered humanity's unyielding commitment to personal freedom came to respect them for it. They learned that while it was often easier to survive by surrendering personal freedoms for the greater good, humans had something that no other species possessed: a deep and unwavering belief that survival was only meaningful when it was accompanied by the freedom to live one's life according to one's own will. And that, perhaps more than anything, was what made humanity truly extraordinary.